Oh my god, guys, Squid Game Season 2 was Sakamoto days. It's probably one of the most popular shows this season. Of course, Solo Leveling is more popular because aura farming. Well, Sakamoto's aura can make people think they've been stabbed. So the discourse for the show is very interesting in a lot of ways. There's people criticizing the fuck out of this, and some that's saying it's the best looking show this season. Cap. Spoilers for the first 4 episodes. I know people are watching it an episode behind, since with the whole Japanese release being one ahead. People's expectations really was high because of the manga. It's one of the more popular manga right now. It keeps getting more and more popular every volume. I mean, I didn't realize the manga had like 20 plus chapters now. I've read the source material. I'm like in chapter 35. It was really hyped up that this was one of the best action manga in recent years. And listen, I'm still very early in the manga, so I don't know if the fight's gonna ramp up. It probably will. But as someone who don't really read much manga, I could legit name 2 manga slash manhwas that's better at action. One Punch Man and The Breaker. Again, I'm still early in Sakamoto days. It just shows the expectations that the manga readers have for this anime. I saw people clouding the fuck out of the opening, like, oh look at the proportions, lighting is trash, why is there no fucking titties in the opening? Yes, the opening is not the best. I do nitpick too in some shows, but just from the opening, you're already that critical. It's crazy. The fights are crazy in the manga, how the author portrays it with very readable and fun way to do action with the paneling. It's great. It's very evident that a lot of people still don't like how the anime look, and I don't really agree with that. I have a fair share of problems with the show's aesthetic and such, but calling the show flat out bad is an objectively wrong statement. This show looks decent. Action-wise, it does its job showcasing Sakamoto's brute strength and other stuff. Yes, you can complain about stuff you don't like, that's fine. I complain about the Blue Lock anime, Go Go Loser Ranger. If Soul Leveling Season 2 had Sakamoto Days animation, I would be disappointed. Bleach is just dog shit. TMS Entertainment is the one producing it. Back in the 90s, they were called Tokyo Movie Shinsha. Made some classics like Akira, Ashita no Joe, Lupin the Third, much more. Now it's a bunch of stuff. Rent a Girlfriend, Detective Conan, Megalobox. Before Sakamoto Days, the animation producer is Genki Ito. Previously animated Fruit Basket. There's some staff overlapping from that show. Other ones like Megalobox, and people are saying some of the Detective Conan staff are working on this. I'm not too familiar with most of the staff here, so I'll highlight the ones I want to talk about more. Masaki Watanabe, the director for this show, has a lot of series director roles for a lot of shows, mainly Battle Spirit. I think it's a card game. Also, why the fuck is the dragon not hand-drawn here? It's a key visual, like what? The character designer, Yu Moriyama, was the director of Megalobox, another action anime by TMS, and Moriyama also worked a lot with Tetsuro Araki, even from when he was still working in Madhouse, and still does to this day in recent examples like Vinland Saga Season 2 Opening 2, that Araki directed. I'll get to the art director later on, but for the director of photography, Bulon Kai previously did Beastars and of course Fruit Basket, and oh no, oh god, it doesn't matter. Newgate probably had a dog shit schedule. Sakamoto Days anime also had production issues. It's just industry standard issues at this point. Nothing crazy to point out. High AD counts and second key animation, the usual. It's not like the 100 Girlfriend Season 2 situation like, oh no, the character designer, she's having a mental breakdown, no! Then the anime aired the first 3 episodes, and it's probably the healthiest credits from the season. Also, this is streamed in Netflix. I do think they are not in the committee, they are just the streaming platform for Sakamoto, but it has a bad thing for the production, which it should finish before the air date since the dub is released the same time as the sub. I could be wrong with that. Again, the action is decent. There are times when it should move more so that the choreography doesn't feel awkward. Besides that, the overall action direction is actually surprisingly good. Not in terms of how spectacular it is, but making the action feel more impactful with sometimes lesser amount of movement. There's a lot of tricks that makes the action feel more alive, using the camera to be more focused at the focal point of the attacks, adding a lot of smears and wind effects. It could be better if they just focus on the asses like SAO, but whatever. And the direction itself, cutting a lot of very fast-paced action can sometimes feel hard to follow if you can't pace it well, but Sakamoto does it amazingly with these fast-paced cuts that's just zooming in and out and even slowing down the scenes to give that oomph, or just cutting the music completely. That was cool. Oh yeah, Yuki Hayashi, the music man for Sakamoto Days, great. The action feels heavy, but not in a fluid nature, probably because lack of time and not the best animation power. Freeman's action is more heavier, fluid, and more slower compared to like Kaneda style animators, very snappy and timing dependent. I think Sakamoto just falls under a decent looking action anime with utilizing a lot of techniques that can make it more impactful with good direction. It's not just tripping on LSD like good animation, but let's forget about everything else. Woo! Tetsuro Niregi and Tetsuya Ishikawa are the action animation directors for right now. There's also effects ADs for some episodes like Kazunori Ozawa, but the main focus right now is Tetsuya Ishikawa that did almost 2 minutes worth of action animation in the beginning of the episode, and also Action AD the latest episode fight, which was another highlight for the series. Crazy that he's also quite involved in another show airing right now, being Sentai Red Isekai. He animated in episode 1, 2, and even the opening, so nice. Cock. Now, controversial takes. Not really. People have been bashing this show since the studio was revealed, but now that the anime is out, there's stuff I'm not the biggest fan of. Talking about the manga for a bit, I do love when an anime doesn't just copy paste the panels every time. They add/extend a lot of the fights to flesh it out even more, which I appreciate, but they are just cutting full chapters. I don't know why they are doing this. Yes, it's not really that important to the main story. We'll wait and see what they're doing with this. I've already talked about the lack of action animation power, and it could be stiff at times. That's fine with me, I still enjoy the fights, but the aesthetic/art style for this show is pretty meh for me. More specifically, the compositing and art direction. I'm still not sure who is in charge for this style, I guess. Of course, the main influence is the series director. That is the main person that is in charge to make the style of the anime. He or she talks to other departments, go on meetings for every episode to check if it's the style that the director wants, blending the backgrounds, color design, character design, many more. Bolun Kai, is that how you say it? Is the compositing artist, but judging from his previous works like Beastars or Fruit Basket, this just doesn't look like his style of compositing. The added like crayon textures in most of the shadows are, I don't know why even putting it there. Some people are saying it's the manga's fault that the style's like this. Shut the fuck up. And even in the lighter color, they put random ass textures. It just doesn't fit well for any type of tricks for the compositing artist trying to make a scene more aesthetically pleasing. Like this shot where the lighting is placed on the lines, it doesn't fit well because everything is just too over textured, and the color palette itself sometimes feels too dark to mix something like this. The shadows also adding a more messier/light touch on the edges, kind of like spreading the color by just using a brush then stroking it. Pause. It's a bit weird. You can see clearly in the trailer for these two characters, I'm not gonna name them. I've always mentioned how important to have good compositing because that is one of the most important things to make your show visually look appealing. That's why music videos, MVs, commercials, and even openings get that look of absolute stunning scenes. A good example of a show that doesn't really move much but the compositing is gorgeous is Failure Frames. Wait, wrong one, sorry. Blue Box. It's consistent, and when the moments are more important, they touch up the post-processing even more to insinuate that impactful moment that the characters are feeling. The other thing I think it's meh is the art direction. This is my opinion. Art styles and such can be subjective. People like what they like. Maybe Failure Frame is objectively dogshit. Besides that, the art direction is Yukiko Maruyama. She's affiliated with Atelier Musa Studio, and some of the art direction is just, yeah. The texture work is not good. It's the same complaint I have for My Hero with these weird ass textures, and guess what? It's the same art director. It's the same thing with the compositing. It can feel a bit busy and sometimes bland for the scenery. The thing I don't get is when Maruyama art directs for like My Hero and Sakamoto days in recent years, it just doesn't look good compared to the non-shonen animes like Konosuba Season 3, good, Promised Neverland, good, and even Origami Season 3, good. I think it's probably a mixture of different director visions and, more importantly, scheduling. We know My Hero is being forced to produce 2 consecutive core shows in a year, and Sakamoto Days doesn't have the best schedule, and there's also a core 2 coming soon. I do think people are overhating this anime, saying it's bad. No, it's not bad. It's just decent, borderline good. Does it live up to the manga? No, but it's still enjoyable, the animation is decent, and as a manga reader, for now, I'm okay with it. Of course it can be better. Next month, expect more non-filler videos. Maybe not for the first week of February since I have my finals, so solo leveling vids it is. Anyways, if you guys like this video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a like. Comment down below what are your thoughts on Sakamoto Days anime. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.